issued a statement saying the situation remains stable at the plant. The company did not provide any further information on the status of the incident. Hurricane Florence brought several feet of rain to parts of North Carolina over a period of days, and the historic level of storm flooding is not expected to subside until next week. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
On June 4th, 1919, a group of bold, passionate men took it upon themselves to pass the Women's Suffrage Act, finally granting women the right to vote that they were too frail and helpless to achieve on their own. Having long watched women struggle to stand up for their right to choose elected officials, the strong and capable men decided to intercede and aid their weak female counterparts. And on June 6, 1972, David Bowie's release of his concept album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, kick-started the glam rock genre and led to such spin-off trends as glam medicine, glam sports, and glamcatecture, all culminating in the 1976 presidential glam election. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of French King John II, history will forever remember the great names of Alexander and Napoleon and Washington. But what about me, John II of France? I did stuff too.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Well, hello. Free Talk Live here. We'll take your calls about anything you want to discuss. The phones are open as always. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, of course, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, which are open and available to you. If you want to sound better than the phones, if you want to sound almost like you're sitting in the studio, just go grab the Discord app and then join us over at discord.lrn.fm. And you can hop on into those rooms. You'll sound great. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
So, Mark, you did say you wanted to comment on Cody Wilson, because I guess you haven't really been on the show, because you take Wednesday and Thursday and Friday off.
Yep.
So it's kind of your weekend while this whole thing went down.
Who's Cody Wilson?
Cody Wilson is a hero. By my book, real-life libertarian hero.
No one asked your opinion. Cody Wilson's the guy who created, from Defense Distributed, who created the little metal milling machine that makes AR-15 lowers.
First, he created the Liberator, which is what he really kind of made his name on initially, which was the world's first 3D printable gun.
That's interesting, but I think it's far more interesting that anybody can right now create enough AR-15s in their basement to supply a militia without asking the government anything.
With the machining thing, I don't know how you best sum up what the Ghost Gunner is. It's basically
it's a tiny little CNC machine.
Yeah, it's automated as well.
Yeah,
so
CNC machines are.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've never used those things before.
It's an automated aluminum milling machine.
I described it as a piece of hardware that makes machining a gun from scratch almost as easy as pressing start. I mean, that's basically... I've never actually used the Ghost Gunner, but you and I toured the factory almost a year ago now. I guess it was last October when we were there.
Yep.
In the Austin, Texas factory. So he made his name as kind of being this... gun rights, free speech, 3D printing guy who's putting essentially Defense Distributed, I think also sums it up, distributing, decentralizing the idea of being able to create weapons, specifically guns, for self-defense purposes. And a lot of people hate him as a result of that. A lot of people think he's a bad guy. They think he's an enemy of, he's definitely an enemy of the state. And the people in the government have come after him. They sued him, actually, in order to get an injunction to prohibit him from putting the Liberator plans, for instance, online and distributing them, saying that he didn't have the right to do that because of some international gun restrictions that the U.S. government has that says that you can't give guns to people in other countries, certain other countries, or
and they
whatever.
gave that up.
They
the case.
give what up? Oh, yeah. There was a settlement recently, and it was this summer where that case finally, after a few years in federal courts, the federal government actually settled with Cody, and part of that settlement was that he is indeed allowed to distribute those gun plans, and as he should be. The courts made the right decision in that particular case because it's free speech. It's not even a gun rights issue because the files that we're talking about here, the 3D printable files that he's been distributing, those are just the idea. That's just the instructions. It's basically, computer code. It's text. It's, whatever code the 3D printer needs to print out its things. It's not the actual gun. It's the idea of the gun. And so it's a clear free speech violation for them to say, well, you can't give this out to people in other countries. Well, everybody everywhere should be able to access ideas, shouldn't they? So anyway, that's what Cody Wilson kind of made his name for. And then
if you're scared of guns, what are you doing? I mean, if you're a government and you're scared of your citizenry being armed, exactly what are you doing?
Bad things? That's what the governments do.
One would presume.
Oppressing their people?
I can tell you this. The Liberator is named after a gun that was dropped in France when the Nazis occupied it.
A one-shot firing kind of gun.
It was made by the United States government with the express intention of French citizens assassinating Nazi rulers.
Now, wasn't it just a piece of garbage and blew up in people's hands?
I haven't read the story. I haven't read the story. It was a cheap gun, but there's lots of cheap guns out there that kill people every day.
Well, and the Liberator, the new version of it, the 3D printable one, is also very, very fragile. It's only really designed to fire once. If you fire it more than once, you're at a high risk of it blowing up in your hands, as I understand it. So it was similar, from what I hear, to the French gun.
Well named
in that way. But this week, Mark, as we pointed out, you weren't here to discuss it. We covered it in great detail on Wednesday, and then again talked about it even further last night as he was arrested in Taiwan on a warrant after Austin police this week put out a warrant for his arrest. And the claim on the warrant is that he committed what they call sexual assault in Texas with somebody under the age of 17. Okay. I imagine you've been following the case?
Yep, I'm keeping a good eye on it. Sexual assault is a terrible name for
what he allegedly did.
The crime that they're claiming he committed.
Why is that?
Well, because apparently he met a 16-year-old on SugarDaddy.com.
The government calls it a child.
You can call her whatever you'd like. Mm-hmm. She's 16 years old. That's a biological adult when we talk science-y talk. I don't care I don't care what the Texas government says. Plenty of governments in the United States call 16 years old enough to copulate. Now
that's true. New Hampshire's does.
Either way, somebody who is 16 years old and commits a crime is going to be likely held to an adult standard.
Sure.
In many cases, this is true.
Like a real crime.
This young lady,
like this.
Went on a site called SugarDaddy.com. And
Sugar Daddy Meat, I believe is what it is.
Okay, there's several of them out there. I went and looked at them, but you can't find out much until you give them your email address.
And your credit card.
And I have no intention of doing that. And I was went and told my wife I was going to go investigate this ahead of time, just so we're clear.
In case she checks your computer.
I just don't want any problems,
walk in behind you.
I don't want any problems.
That's a smart move. I think that was the right thing to do.
And anyway, so this young lady basically something close to prostituted herself out. I mean, that's basically what's going on here, right?
Well,
what's a sugar daddy?
That's one of the interesting things about the affidavit, the 5-page affidavit the police put in to the judge to get this warrant, was they didn't actually allege he conducted prostitution, even though they do say that he paid her $500 after the encounter. It doesn't say that they agreed in advance that there would be a specific price for this meetup. Now, maybe they did, and that's just not included in the affidavit, but I found it strange that if indeed Cody Wilson had agreed with this teenage young lady for a certain price for sex, that's the definition of prostitution, where you agree in advance for a certain amount for a certain sexual act.
I hope we can all agree that $500 for sex is outrageous.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's outrageous.
I
think any price is outrageous.
To me, a person who takes the time to go list themselves on a website that we could use the term prostitution or not prostitution. I don't really care. To me, it's prostitution. I mean, this looks like prostitution to me.
But they didn't charge him with it, at least not yet.
Fine. Maybe all the things like a price or whatever aren't put out there. But if there's an agreement in place to exchange a value for sex, I don't have a problem with it from a moral standpoint. I don't care. I think prostitution is a bad idea.
Trade sex for money, it's your business.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
You should do what you want.
But from a
I don't know if it's a bad idea. I mean, there's people out there that they want to get some sort of sexual release. They don't want to have a relationship. They don't want to try to go and take somebody out on a date. They just want to go and have sex. And you know what? They should be able to pay for it if that's what they want to do.
Does this show you yet that this is a bad idea? This 16-year-old girl apparently got some information from Cody like, hey, I'm a big deal.
Well, that's the claim in the affidavit, is that Cody claimed to be a big deal and so she identified himself.
And she decided, for whatever reason, to go to the police.
She went to a counselor who then ostensibly went to the police.
Okay.
So whether it was the counselor, whether it was the counselor or the young lady who decided to go to the police is the question.
Right. So to me, that shows it's a bad idea.
What, right? Paying for sex?
Yes. One more reason it's a bad idea.
I'm not sure.
Cody Wilson's life is in turmoil because he paid for sex, Ian.
Even if he hadn't paid for the sex, it still would have been felony sexual assault charges. You understand that, right?
He shouldn't have gone.
I see what you're saying, but whether or not he paid for the sex is immaterial.
He wouldn't have met the 16-year-old that wanted money for sex if he hadn't agreed to pay for it.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is now Horizon, and Free Talk Live is giving away some Zen. Over the last 6 weeks, we've given away 8 Zen, and we're giving away more. To enter the next giveaway, send your transparent Zen address via email to Daryl@freetalklive.com and tell us how you listen to the show. The winner will be randomly selected from all entries received before noon on Wednesday, September 26th. Again, to enter, send your transparent Zen address via email to Daryl@freetalklive.com. Tell us how you listen to the show.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. It's the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you can join us here on the radio. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We're talking about the international story at this point of Cody Wilson from Defense Distributed. Man, we've had on the show a few times, I think, in the past from various different events where he's been in real life with us. He is a libertarian hero. He's somebody who's stood up for gun rights. He stood up for the right to free speech. And now he's been taken down by the Texas police. Austin City police have put out a warrant for his arrest, and ultimately he was caught in Taiwan. He's being, I guess, sent away from Taiwan, presumably back to the United States, where it's likely the U.S. Marshals will take him into custody and deliver him back to Texas. That seems to be what's on the plate for him. All of this is as a result of, you say, Mark, a mistake that he made, engaging in an act of alleged prostitution. Now, legally,
or something close to prostitution.
It's not clear that that's what actually happened. By the way, we'll get back into the story here. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Zencash is now known as Horizon. And Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. Now, what's all that mean? Well, it's got cryptocurrency. That's one thing that Horizon has, but it's much more than that. Zero-knowledge technology is the privacy tech that's sort of baked into the Horizon system, and it also backs their chat system. So you can also do chat with other people on the Horizon network. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon is bringing privacy to life. You can learn more at horizon.global. That's HORIZEN.global. So we're talking about the Cody Wilson case, which is still developing. As we speak here, he's likely, I think he had a 10 p.m. flight from Taiwan, so he's probably in the air.
That's about the fastest extradition I've ever heard of. Is he just going along with it?
It's not an extradition.
Okay.
So what happened yesterday, which we reported on in some detail on Free Talk Live, so you want to grab the archives, go to freetalklive.com. But what happened was Taiwan, which doesn't have apparently an extradition treaty with the United States.
One of the few countries that sort of support it.
They're also one of those countries that is a visa-free travel for U.S. citizens.
So, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, okay,
however,
free, all right.
Well, there's only a few countries in the world that you can do that to, right?
No.
No?
Many.
Okay, I pulled up a list, and it didn't seem like many. Maybe it was just a partial list or something like that. But
should be more than about 140.
Wow. Okay, that was not the list I was looking at. But anyway, it was on the list I saw, and it was a relatively short list. Maybe it was a truncated list. But anyway, in Taiwan, Mark, you can travel there apparently as a U.S. citizen with a passport. However, if your passport...
166 nations.
Wow. However, if your passport is invalid, they will consider you no longer welcome. And so that's what happened, was the U.S. government revoked Cody Wilson's passport, and they told Taiwan, hey, we revoked his passport. And Taiwan said, well, looks like you're here illegally.
I guess you're going back.
So you're going back to where you came from.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. It's not an extradition actually at all. in that case. So he's going to be facing felony so-called sexual assault charges, which, as I pointed out in my blog post today at freekeen.com, is an insult to anybody who's actually been a victim of real sexual assault, which in my opinion should involve force and should involve violence.
The notion is that a 16-year-old cannot consent to have sex with somebody who's X number of years older than they are. And I see the point. The point is that somebody who's, say, 10 years older, I don't know what the law says, and I don't know.
Cody's 30, I think, 31 or something like that.
But he's 10 years older than she is, in excess of that. 10 years older could, lie or manipulate the truth to the point that this person would want to, compromise their principles. In this case, you're talking about a person who basically went on a website with the intention of prostituting themselves.
You're talking about a person who actually lied and manipulated the truth in the case of the young female
in order
here,
to be able to do that.
In order to take advantage of Cody, initially purportedly just to make some money as she is, I think they describe it as a sugar baby. So there's the sugar daddy website that he was on,
right,
and the females on that site are called sugar babies.
Oh, the males are too. You could be
I believe this is a female. I don't know if I didn't look closely at that site.
Sites,
did you?
Fine. I didn't look at the specific site. I looked at, typed in sugar daddy website, and it came up with several options. And the young people, the people that are young at heart was the terminology that was used. Basically, I don't know. I mean, what else can you say? But want to exchange sex for money. With rich people.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, male sugar daddy, female. Oh, no, it's only male, female on this one site. Sugar Daddy Meet, which is the site that he was ostensibly on.
Fine. So, more or less, all I'm saying is that this young person went out and intended to do this, and I think it brings up an interesting question about.
It probably wasn't her first time. That's my guess.
Probably it's a good guess.
Yeah.
But who knows? Is the idea of consent, age of consent. So if a 16-year-old can't make the decision to have sex with an older person, can they do anything? Should they be allowed to drive a car? Should they be allowed to vote? Should they? In some places, a 16-year-old can vote in local elections. And should they be allowed to possess a gun? If you can't make the decision to have sex, you should not be allowed to have a gun. You shouldn't be allowed to contract.
Well, I think the argument from the other side, and our phones are open if you want to call in about this, 855-450-FREE, would be that, sex is so much more important. It's more dangerous. It's, you could get an STD. You could get pregnant. Sex is bad. You're not supposed to have sex outside of marriage. God hates you.
Well, sex is bad. You're not supposed to have sex outside of marriage. All that stuff is just moralizing, and I don't want to talk about it.
But let's be realistic. That's where a lot of this comes from, right? That's where this, let's call it sexual repression of the people who are acting like this girl's a victim. Oh, she's just a child.
I haven't heard yet one of these people yet. Everybody I've heard, granted, I do live in a bit of an echo chamber, but I haven't heard one person.
Because even within the libertarian movement, there are a lot of people who've been S-talking Cody Wilson. There are people.
They've been saying he's stupid, because I'm willing to say that this was a mistake.
No, the whole thing about, look, I haven't seen it myself.
Okay.
I've just heard that this is going on because I'm not on most of the social media sites. But I know what it was like when, people came after me, and I did go on Reddit. Okay, so that's one social media site besides Twitter that I do any kind of posting on, and some of the responses were not very friendly toward Cody Wilson and his sexual interests,
all right,
or whatever, which, as I point out over at freekeen.com in my blog today, sorry, I don't buy it that this is some obscure sexual interest. That is to say, men being attracted to younger women. I don't buy it at all. I think that it's fairly common.
Yeah, they wouldn't have sites like teen porn. They wouldn't have. I mean,
if it was a total niche and nobody was interested in it.
Right. I mean, I'd say that probably the people. Ladies are probably appreciated for their bodies, most from the ages of, say, 18 to 25, and that's just what you're allowed to say.
We're going to continue here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And if you say anything else, some people get real uncomfortable. It's Free Talk Live.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you can bring up anything that you want. We're talking about the controversy that is surrounding a different set of controversies surrounding Cody Wilson, who normally gets embroiled in free speech / gun rights issues with his 3D printable gun, the Liberator, and subsequent invention, the Ghost Gunner, which is kind of like a little almost portable CNC machine for making guns from basically scratch, from the 80% lowers, kind of drilling out whatever little bits and holes and things like that need to get drilled. And you can basically make guns from, with no traceability. That's why it's called a ghost gunner.
You can have a militia's worth of AR-15s produced in a very short period of time.
Correct. And I think one of those ghost gunners what was he telling us? It was like $2 or $3 grand or something like that. It wasn't a whole lot of money. It really.
I can't remember what the pricing was, but
it was so affordable. Affordable. It was basically the cost of a gun.
Yeah, if you're looking at the cost of AR-15s and you start producing your own, it gets very, very affordable very quickly.
Basically, if you produce 2 guns with a ghost gunner, you can probably pay for it. I mean, if you were to sell one, which would be probably highly illegal from what I understand.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me the other day. But anyway, that's what he was kind of known for. And now he has been arrested. He will be arrested once he gets back to the United States. He's been arrested in Taiwan, and then he'll be rearrested once he's transferred into the custody of the Texas police that put out a warrant for his arrest this week on a totally BS charge of so-called statutory, or excuse me, no, they don't call it statutory rape in Texas. They call it sexual assault. I don't know how many states call it statutory rape. It seems like sexual assault is a pretty common charge.
Yes, but people know what statutory rape is when you say it, and they understand that it's something different.
You have raped the statutes.
Rape.
Yeah. Because there's not actually a rape victim here. There's a teenage girl who was allegedly 16, just 1 year or maybe a matter of days or weeks younger than the legal age of consent in Texas, who met with Cody in a hotel room, allegedly. And there's supposedly video footage of him going in and out of the hotel with her and getting into their truck, or his truck. To which, by the way, she got in completely voluntarily after the fact. There weren't any descriptions from the police saying that Cody was manhandling her as they left the hotel room and threw her in the truck. Or she got in the truck voluntarily with him. She left the truck at a Whataburger, apparently is where he took her to afterwards. So there was no indication that she wasn't comfortable being with him. She didn't try to break away and run to the hotel doorman or something like that. If it was actually a violent encounter, which they didn't allege. They didn't say he hurt her.
She just wanted a ride, right?
Yeah. Well, she got more than one ride.
Yes. That's very clever.
Yeah. So if you want to comment, toll-free number here, 855-450, free like freedom. Also, I do want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, start at the easiest URL to remember, Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin's the one that started it all, and you can go to Bitcoin.com to start their Bitcoin Academy and learn the basics. When you're ready to learn more about the Bitcoin universe, you can check out their news site. They're updating every single day with fresh stories and pieces over at news.bitcoin.com. You can get your first Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash through Bitcoin.com as well. There's a bunch of cool things on their site, and it's free. So go on over to Bitcoin.com and get started there. So, Mark, we're kind of rehashing some of this. We've talked about these issues in detail over the last 3 days, but you haven't actually been here because you get these last 3 days off every week. So, your comments here on where Cody is legally. Do you have any predictions? Do you think this was a setup? I mean, there's a lot of questions here. Some people are saying he was set up.
I don't know what. I don't propose. I don't work with speculation generally. What I see is a situation where he has voluntarily gone on a website and what looks like basically a prostitution website. Sorry to use the term. I'm not using it legally in a legal sense, but in sort of a practical sense. This looks like prostitution.
You're going to get an angry letter from a sugar baby tonight who's going to talk about how she's not a prostitute. She gets paid afterwards.
All right. He did it voluntarily, so no, I don't think it's a setup. It was the first thing I thought of.
You thought it was a setup.
The first I went into this thinking this is a setup, but after I read everything, this just looks like some guy who's made a poor decision to my mind. And poor decision, I mean, he is he's a target. He's got a target painted on his back, and he went and did something dumb. But I can see why he would not have checked this girl's ID, because he's going on a site where ostensibly her ID should have been checked already.
Doubtful. How many dating sites ask you to upload an ID? I've never seen it. I'm on a few of them right now.
Yeah, well, I don't. At this point, I have no proof that Cody Wilson knew the age of this young lady.
We have no idea. It doesn't matter. The statutes of Texas, and I suspect you check any state statutes, it is not an affirmative defense that you didn't know. It's not even an affirmative defense that she lied. So even if she told him, oh, yeah, I'm 18, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
It's a felony charge of so-called sexual assault because she's a child, according to the state of Texas.
When I'm dealing with the world, I try to deal with facts. I try to deal with objective facts. And if an objective fact is that you have told me that you're 18 years old, then I'm only going to presume that that's true. And I have no obligation. It's not like he's her gym coach.
Yep.
It's not like he's her teacher. He's not her Cub Scout pack leader. He's not her Little League baseball coach. He doesn't know this lady from anything, and the only thing he knows is that she was on a website trying to meet people that says that she needs to be 18 years old. And
it's going to be he can make the argument ultimately, but I don't think it's going to work because it's not a factor in the the facts of the case as far as when the government has to prove a case against you, they just have to prove A, B, or C that you did those things knowingly.
The government has now sullied him. It doesn't matter what happens with the case. He's besmirched at this point. And
they still ostensibly have to find a jury that doesn't know who he is.
I understand that that they're going to go through with this in all likelihood. They'll probably offer some peddling little plea or whatever. Maybe that's what they usually do. Just so long as you're willing to plead to something.
I suspect if they offer him a plea, it will still be to a felony. That's my guess, because I bet they want to get this guy, right? Like even if it wasn't a setup initially, Austin PD knows who this guy is.
I would really like the United States Supreme Court to rule on a statutory rape case where all the evidence points to the person, the perpetrator, believing and being told that the victim is 18, where the victim
or 17 in
has
Texas.
lied on the internet, and it's provable.
Right.
I want them to rule on that. I would really like to know, do we live in a nation where you need to know things that you haven't been told? Like, you can't keep me in the dark and expect me not to grow mushrooms. I'm being kept in the dark and fed BS. I'm going to grow mushrooms. That's what happens.
What I want to know is, what if she'd even shown him an ID? Like, what if he got into that hotel room and was like, hey, look, I had to pick you up to get you here. Can you even drive? Do you have a driver's license? Can you show me your driver's license? What if she shows a fake ID? Is it still like, well, sorry, you need to know how to detect a fake ID. You didn't check close enough to see if it had the special hologram in there.
I don't know the answer to that, but it makes perfect sense that she'd want to meet in a public place. If she hadn't met this guy before?
No. But what I'm saying is, if you actually check somebody's ID, right? Like if your concern is, okay, well, you're on this website, I still don't know if you're really actually 18.
I hear you can get really great IDs, fake IDs from China.
Yeah, I don't know where you can. I'm sure the darknet probably has good fake IDs. I've never looked into it, but I know that they used to have that category on Silk Road. Whether you can trust them or not, I don't know. But my point being, if it's not an affirmative defense, to be able to, an affirmative defense in law, from what I understand, is where it's basically an out from a charge. It's like, if you can argue this thing, then you can't be found guilty.
Right.
And it's not an affirmative defense that you didn't know or that you thought the person was over the age when they weren't, in fact, over the legal age of consent. How far can they get away with completely lying and, misdirecting you and still get these charges brought against you?
It sounds like a great opportunity for police to set people up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, I recommend finding a good woman and sticking with her, but they are hard to find.
Especially if you're somebody like Cody Wilson, who basically has the government hovering over him at every moment, and they could snatch him up anytime they want to, like they did. More coming up.
Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value, made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They show pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
World fast for peace. I don't understand what she said. If the whole world fasted like Gandhi, we would see great results for this struggle to survive world order.
There's never going to be any peace. You sound like you're on drugs, dear. It sounds like you're a flower child. You're pumped up on drugs.
Any woman who doesn't agree with you is on drugs or something.
I may be a racist and anti-Semite, but I have all my faculties.
Well, racism and sexism are one.
You're one of those love mankind, love thy neighbor.
And I am too, and thank you both for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. That is the one thing I can certainly agree with the lady on. Normally I can't understand a word that she says, but I think Scott, the bigot, did interpret her correctly, and that she is interested in peace, and I like that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here if you want. Talking about Cody Wilson facing a felony charge, possibly, apparently, according to one media source, up to 20 years in prison for doing something that is completely legal here within this arbitrary political geographic boundary. Had he moved to New Hampshire as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration, which he'd come here to speak before at the Liberty Forum, the Free State Project yearly event they have. He spoke at the very least in 2014. I found evidence of that. I don't know if they had him other years, but
I think
they might
we met
have.
him there.
We definitely did. That we probably had him on the show. I bet you if you went back to 2014's Liberty Forum episodes, he's probably on the air with us. But so he'd been here before, he'd spoken here before, and had he just simply moved here, then unless he crossed the border to go meet a girl in Massachusetts, which I don't know what the age of consent is in Massachusetts,
because I know that crossing the border,
there is an issue with crossing borders and age of consent being a federal violation, I think, but that's only if you're trying to get away from. So if Mass has a 16-year-old age of consent and New Hampshire doesn't, I don't think it's a problem. But don't take legal advice from me. My point being, had he actually moved to New Hampshire and done this same act, well, then the girl would have had no leverage against him in that case. And he'd still be doing his thing and doing defense distributed. Now he's got to refocus his defense efforts. He's got some great attorneys, so I mean, there's no doubt he's going to be able to have legal representation in this case should he decide to not take a plea deal and actually go all the way to trial. So that's one thing he's got going for him. in what is ultimately a deck that is being stacked against him.
Yeah.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. We got John. He's in Delaware listening to WDOV in Dover. Hello, John.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch. Yeah, man. I just wanted to kind of touch on that, actually. He does have plenty of money to afford the lawyers and probably afford the bond that'll be set for him, of course. But I just wanted to mention how unjust it is for those of us that are at points in our life where we do get into some trouble and we can't afford a bond and we don't have anybody to bond us out. And
right.
We got to sit in a jail cell until we go to court, which could take God only knows how long.
It could take months
sometimes.
Many months.
Even longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where is
can't
the whole notion that we're innocent until proven guilty in this country? It's totally unconstitutional that we have to sit in a dirty, rotten jail cell while they figure out whether we committed a crime or not.
Right.
It's
In a
totally
nation that has a guarantee of a speedy trial. And
yeah,
at
it's a
this
joke.
point, it's a joke.
It is a total joke and a farce, man. And this guy, they're going to nail this guy either way because they're already headhunting for this guy. They don't like him. They don't like what he does. They don't like the fact that he's a gun rights activist. They don't like the fact that he's a libertarian activist.
Yep.
They don't like the fact that he did something that totally goes against their laws that they set up, and they're going to nail him because that's what they do, man.
Yeah, I hate the whole idea of pre-confinement jail is really a miscarriage of justice. When back when the Constitution was written and you were guaranteed the right to a speedy trial, you could expect a trial within a month's time. Now, you can't defend yourself while you're in jail anyway, and jail should only be for people who are a danger to society right now or would likely run away.
They're going to say he's a flight risk. I mean, when he gets his bail hearing, the initial, by the way,
absolutely.
Yeah, the initial amount
They'll always say that. Yeah, every time.
Well, they're not always going to say it, but in this case they are because he was out of the country at the time.
They want him in the jail so he doesn't leave, and they're going to set his bond so high.
I bet you they're going to at least 10x the bond because it was $150,000 on the paperwork. It said $150,000, and I bet you it's going to be $1 million or
right now. We've got technology.
That's $15,000 with a bail bondsman.
Yeah. Right now, with the technology that we have, he can have a little LoJack's thing right on his ankle, and they can know to the second when he leaves his property. That's one more injustice because he can defend himself if he's outside of jail. He can talk to his attorneys and all these other things. Much more difficult when you're in jail.
Yep.
And it's the idea that we live in a country that claims that you have a right to a speedy trial and then it takes 3 years to bring you to trial. That is an absurdity.
Unbelievable, man. You're guilty until you can prove that you're innocent, or until you can come up with enough money to hire lawyers that could prove that you're innocent.
Not only that, I mean, you're right on a general. You're right as a general statement as a defendant against so-called, criminal charges. But in this particular case, a lot of people are just going to consider him guilty forever. They're just not even going to know anything else because this is sex with somebody who's under the legal age of consent, and some people that's it. They're done with him. They don't care if it was an accusation. It hasn't been proven yet. They don't care. They're going to throw him under the bus. And there's even plenty of people within the libertarian movement who are like that, and I find it despicable.
Unbelievable.
John, thanks for the call. I appreciate hearing from you. I find it absolutely despicable. But then again, nobody should be surprised when they find out that people who call themselves libertarians, in a lot of cases, can't adhere to their own principles.
They're tough principles to adhere to, really.
Yeah, no doubt. People are going to ask you tough questions if you adhere to them.
Right, especially when it comes to the idea of age of consent, whatever the age of consent might be. For me, what I say is, look, when you're responsible enough to pay bills for you and a family, well, then you're responsible enough to have sex. Sex is intended to have for people that want to procreate and have babies. But I would understand that the human species does like to have sex for recreation, and there's not much I'm going to be able to do about that. Like, I wouldn't throw anybody in jail over this stuff.
We can continue that discussion, but let's continue with your calls first here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Brett is in Indiana listening to WIBC. Go ahead, Brett.
Yes, I had a friend that we had went out to a bar one night. They card you as you go in the bar. He ended up bringing home a 15-year-old, and she did have ID, obviously, to get into the bar, and he did get tried and convicted, even though she was in a bar that, collected ID at the front door before you walked in.
Where is he now? How long did he get sentenced for?
A year and a half. Part of it was suspended, and he ended up doing like 8 months, and then part of it on paper. But it's a life sentence once it happens, because then you got to register, you got to tell all your neighbors, you got to, you can't be near schools, you can't, and this is all over something where a girl that she was a knockout, and she looked like she was, and I imagine people think I'm sick for saying that, but I mean, you can't tell anymore. Girls are developed that way beyond when I was a kid.
I mean, people say that, but look, the reality is, men, and I'm sure some women as well, but men are attracted to young women generally. I mean, there's exceptions, right? Some men are attracted to older women, and whatever. Everybody's got their preferences, but I mean, it's sort of like the longest story, right? It goes all the way back to the days of Jesus. You look at a quick Google search reveals that people will say that Mary, when God decided to impregnate Mary, was between the ages of 12 and 14. So on the high end, 14. There's no age of consent that's 14 anywhere in the United States.
Right. It was very common back then for 12, 13-year-old girls to get married to older men.
That's true.
And usually it was arranged by the parents.
Now, you could argue that teenagers these days are more, or rather less mature than they might have been in the past. In the past, they may have had more responsibilities. They may have had to do things, on the farm or whatever, and become more responsible as a result of that. But ultimately, that's not because...
It's just bad parenting, though.
Right. That's not because teenagers are all of a sudden, broken. It's because of the society. And Brett, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate your story. It's because of the society that we have that essentially has disincentivized maturity among young people. Oh, what's that? You want to go to work? Sorry, you're just not old enough. You're just going to have to sit around all day and hang out with your friends and be bored. And then if you're a male, probably go blow up some things, like mailboxes or whatever, because you're bored to tears. And males act out in a lot of ways when they do that kind of thing. And I'm sure females have ways of acting out when they're bored to death as teenagers, because they're not allowed to be responsible. Oh, what's that? You want to start your own business? Well, can you afford the licensing fees, sweetie? Oh, you can't, can you? Because you don't have any money. You haven't been able to work. So, they're completely hamstrung from actually doing things that, in my opinion, help generate maturity. Wouldn't you say, Mark, that because you worked at the comic book store when you were, 12?
Yeah,
I think it's when you started
12
there?
12 to 18.
That helped you? Wouldn't you say that helped you be a more mature young person?
I think I learned more in that time from working than I did at school.
Yeah. About people. About getting along with people, about interacting with people who are of different ages. Because when you're in school, the only people who are of different age are the teachers and the administrators and their authorities. You don't really have the same kind of relationship with them that you would people in a normal interaction of doing business, where you're interacting with all kinds of people of different ages and shapes and sizes. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You want to comment on Cody Wilson facing a so-called sexual assault charge where his victim is, in my opinion, not a victim at all. Cody is the victim in this case.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, September 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,200 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,679. Antiwar.com reports the last official figures on Afghan military deaths came out in 2016. 22 soldiers were killed on an average day, and this was so bad that Afghan and U.S. officials decided that death tolls would subsequently be kept secret. Things have just gotten worse, and 22 deaths would be a comparatively mild day compared to media reports on the death tolls in recent days. In the past week, the average day has seen roughly 57 deaths among Afghan security forces. The Pentagon's recent decision to more heavily publicize Taliban body counts to try to sell the war to the administration likely comes from the same place as the decision to keep Afghan military deaths secret, as this will just reveal the extent of the conflict's failures. The Afghan government wants to avoid publicizing it, in particular because it's having a negative effect on recruitment. The Afghan military doesn't pay well, and the hugely dangerous reality of the job would just further harm their already struggling recruiting numbers. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports one of the last remaining points of contention in the trade negotiations between the United States and Canada is whether Canada will allow the U.S. to freely export its dairy products. Canada uses high tariffs to restrict dairy imports from the United States and other countries. While the system benefits Canadian dairy farmers, industry leaders say it costs the American dairy industry dearly. Chris Galen, a spokesman for the National Milk Producers Federation, said Canada is essentially walled off from the rest of the world. We want the opportunity to sell our dairy products in the Canadian market. Canada is trying to prevent that from happening. The issue has the two countries in a standoff, with both sides trying to act in the best interest of their farmers. Al Mussel, lead researcher for Agri-Food Economic Systems, said by keeping foreign milk out of its market, Canada is able to control the supply and maintain consistent dairy prices. This system protects Canada's small dairy farmers from the volatile international market. Such a system does not exist in the United States, where dairy prices have dropped to historic lows and dairy farms across the country are struggling to stay in business. But opening the Canadian market for U.S. milk means Canadian farmers would have to relinquish some of their market access. And since Canada's system protects small farms, the cost of milk production there is much higher than in the United States. Canadian farmers would have a hard time competing with their southern neighbors. Trade negotiations between the two countries resumed on Thursday with no sign of a resolution over dairy market access. If a trade deal is not reached soon, Canada could be left out, as President Donald Trump has reached an agreement with Mexico, the third party to the 1994 North American Free Trade Agreement. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Duke Energy said it shut down a North Carolina natural gas plant due to flooding as the deluge of water continued in the aftermath of Hurricane Florence, which has killed more than 40 people. Duke Energy also said it cannot rule out the possibility that coal ash from another plant is flowing into nearby waters. Water breached the cooling lake dam at Duke's 625-megawatt natural gas LV Sutton plant, causing the company to shut the plant down. Water is now exiting the cooling lake through breaches, one large and several smaller, according to the company in a statement on Friday. However, the company later in the day issued a statement saying the situation remains stable at the plant. The company did not provide any further information on the status of the incident. Hurricane Florence brought several feet of rain to parts of North Carolina over a period of days, and the historic level of storm flooding is not expected to subside until next week. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy. So it's like, and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful, all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the second hour of the program. Of course, you can join us here. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got Discord. There are on-air call-in line rooms on our Discord server. Discord's a chat server, and it's there 24 hours a day. But if you want to call into the show when we're live, if you join those call-in line rooms, then we will jump in there with you, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with me, Ian.
And me, Mark.
For those of you just tuning in, we've been talking about Cody Wilson. I was almost going to say Ross Ulbricht. We're going to cover him in just a moment. But Cody Wilson, who is, in my opinion, a libertarian hero. He's the creator of the Liberator, which is the world's first 3D printable gun. That made him sort of an international enemy of governments around the world, including the United States government, because, you'd think gun freedom in the United States. Well, the government, of course, doesn't like gun freedom as much as some of them pander to the idea.
Governments don't like gun freedom.
Yeah, they certainly don't like the idea that you might have a gun that they don't know that you have, right? Because the government in the United States, they kind of have to let you have guns in most places, although there's exemptions in awful big cities like Chicago and elsewhere. But you kind of have to be able to have a gun. It's if you jump through enough hoops, they got to kind of allow that. But they still want to know who you are, where you live, what kind of guns you have, where you're storing them, blah, 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 and all this.
The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed except
blah,
these 20,000 gun laws we've got in this country.
Yeah, and that's an old number. That's from like 2 decades ago. Yeah. So who knows what the number is these days. So then you got Cody Wilson come along with not only 3D printable guns, but then he manufactures the Ghost Gunner, which, by the way, when we were at his factory a year ago, they were so backed up with orders, they were like a couple months behind in being able to fulfill orders that were coming in. Mm-hmm. So like the demand for these things is very, very high. They're flying off the shelves, basically. The Ghost Gunner, which is a machine that's a very small CNC machine that you can basically hit a button and create a gun from scratch. I'm summarizing what it does, but that's my understanding. It makes it as easy as possible to make a fully functioning metal, out of metal kind of gun.
Right. No serial numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best way to describe it. You can make a gun that the government has never heard of.
Correct. And then you can make more. Yeah. You can make 1, and then you can make 10, and then you can make 20.
The estimates are that there are between 1 and 2 guns for every American. So
already today,
between 3 and 600 million guns in this country. And that doesn't include, like, how in the world could you include numbers for guns that don't have serial numbers?
I'm going to bring AJ on the line here, calling from a Michigan prison. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Oh, did we lose him? You know what? I think he called in the middle of our break, and they only get 10-minute calls.
Well,
so, oh, no, the phone is muted. That was
gotcha.
my bad. Somebody muted the phones. You're here. We got you. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Free Talk. A couple things I want to comment on. One, I truly believe the federal government is targeting Cody Wilson as they did Ross Ulbricht. And it's important that we read between the lines. In other words, there's circumstantial evidence right now that the federal government is clearly involved. This is a state case. This has nothing to do with the federal government. But on top of that, they knew all of his whereabouts. A, because they've been tracking him. B, because I believe they set him up, because the government has the power to do that, and then they make it look like the state did it, and then they make it look like the counselor was the one involved. Now, here's an important thing to recognize. That passport that he had, there's a legal procedure in this country and all around the world for extradition. If a person is facing extradition, there's a procedure for it. However, the federal government, because they're criminals, the criminal justice system in the federal government, that's why they call it criminal, federal justice system, is basically revoke his passport, which is illegal to do, number one.
No, it's not. It's their passport.
It is, but they're circumventing the law, just like they've done on the treaties.
How do you know? They can do whatever they want to do. I mean, I'm sure there's a provision in the law that says they can revoke this for any reason they want to, any old time they want to. It's theirs.
Sure, and we have extradition treaties. When they circumvent the law, when a government that's supposed to be as free as the United States circumvents the law with this activity, that just goes to show you how criminal they are. Because
I'm not saying
criminal. I agree with you there.
I'm not saying that it's not immoral. Like the idea that you have to stay on the one little polygon on the map that you happen to be born on, and that if you step out of it, you need the papers that the papers, honestly, that have been pushed by the United States State Department. You know, the idea that freedom to travel is something that the United States government gives a flip about is outrageous. I don't like to use terms like illegal, because that's just giving the power to the criminal attorney industrial complex out there.
Right. And again, the government has clearly weaponized the criminal justice system, just like they did with Ross Ulbricht. I've been studying his case for the last 2 days. I've spent about 2 or 3 hours on it, and I can see all the stuff that happened on him. And the bottom line is it's the same thing they're going to do to Cody Wilson, because that's what they've done. You know, we the United States people are the problem. We've allowed the government to do whatever they want. We're scared to death to do anything in this country. And the key is we've allowed them to run wild with all these laws. They got a law for everything. If you get pulled over and you just tell the police officer, well, I'm going to see my mother. Well, yeah, I am, but then I was going to the store first. Now you just lied. Well, that's 4 years in prison. It's ridiculous. In Michigan,
is it illegal to lie to a cop in Michigan?
Yes, it is. It's 4 years in prison.
Wow.
On top of that, if you cohabitate, if a man and a woman cohabitate in a house without being married, it's 1 year in prison. It's on the books. On top of that,
I'm willing to bet there's some people breaking the law right now.
Oh, yeah.
Gross indecency laws. For a married woman to have sex with her husband, oral sex, or anal sex, it's against the law. It's up to life in prison. They've got all kinds of laws on the books, and they are enforcing them. Half of the states in the country are enforcing.
Right, they enforce them at their leisure, right? Like most of the time, they don't know about it. But if there's somebody they want to target, then they can absolutely pull these laws out of the books and do what they want with them.
Just like they're doing to Cody Wilson right now, just like they've done to Ross Ulbricht. And the problem is people need to wake up. We need to wake up, and we need to take control of this government. We're so afraid. We're afraid to even talk to these people. It shouldn't be that way. This is the United States of America. It's been going on for over 50 years now. It shouldn't be.
So, AJ,
we need to.
You just indicted the American public, and I'm frustrated. I'm as frustrated as I could be with them too. But that's 300 million people. I can't do anything about the injustices in the legal system. I don't know what to do about it. You want
we
me
can
to
do some things about it.
I
go out every month to do jury nullification outreach here in Keene, New Hampshire. I've done that for about a decade of my life. I have done also some level of don't take a plea deal outreach, informing people of how to not take a plea and the benefits that can come from not taking a plea, or at least not immediately taking a plea. I've handed out, I don't know how many thousands of those flyers over my last decade. And just recently I got done doing flyering outside the college campus for 3 weeks in a row on party nights, giving them information about how to handle themselves in a police encounter. So you can do something. You're doing something by talking on the radio.
I understand, Ian. I'm doing something, but the problem is that it's not enough. Go ahead, AJ.
Well, yeah, I agree 100%. We are doing something right now. Every day I'm doing something. I'm contacting officials. I'm calling every radio station that I can call. I'm writing every official, every organization I can call. I'm doing so, and I'm going to keep doing something to my last drop of blood, because I want to make America great again for everybody, not just the elite.
Because it matters, right? It matters what happens to the little guy as well, and that's why sometimes. And by the way, thank you for the call tonight, AJ. I appreciate it. That's why some people will say, "Well, I'll just leave the United States." Well, okay, wherever you go, there's the government, right? It may not be the United States government, it may be the Mexican government, it may be the you fill in the blank of wherever government, whatever country you go to.
I agree with you, but the conclusion I've come to is that, right, you're right. You can't go anywhere and not have the state intruding on people. Yeah. The conclusion I've come to is people get the government they deserve, and that I can't do anything. I'll be happy to get on the radio and inform you of the immorality of the state.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to act like a judge's word's more important than a jury activist's words, who's handing you a flyer outside the building, and I'm sure that 90-something% of the people believe the judge is more important than your.
I don't know. There's no evidence. You're completely speculating. I can tell you that over 90% of the people who walk by me will take my flyer from me.
That's great,
and they're friendly about it.
Oh, wonderful.
Usually I'll get positive comments if I see them again.
People are friendly to the mentally ill. It doesn't matter.
Okay, Mark. Yeah, that's not the way that they treat me, but you don't know because you're not there. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I'm the one who gets up at 7:20 in the morning to go out and do that, and nobody else ever does, okay? 855-4... I shouldn't say nobody. Every now and then somebody will join me who's like a visitor in Keene or something, and they kind of have fun with it. All right, so more coming up here. 855-450-FREE, and Jazzy Girl comes with me, too. The best activist dog ever. More coming up.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition. The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. You know your property and your family are precious. You ought to be protecting them with the Blink home security system. They have wireless, motion-activated HD cameras. They'll ship to you very affordably. In fact, you can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off by using our special URL. As a Free Talk Live listener, you go to blinkprotect.com/FTL like Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Batteries last for up to 2 years. These are just AA batteries, so replacing them when the time does come is not a hard thing to do. You don't have to get some crazy special battery from the company, right? You can go anywhere to get AA's. So you pop the batteries in, put the cameras up, set it all up on your wireless Wi-Fi enabled device, and that's it. You decide when the cameras are operating as far as when they send you clips of the motion that happens in front of them. So maybe you want them on at nighttime. Maybe you want them on while you're away to work or whatever. It's up to you. And one of the most important aspects here, unlike a lot of home security, there's no contracts with Blink. There's no subscriptions. Blink is actually owned by Amazon now. It didn't used to be, but they bought the company because I think they like the product so much.
Right.
And
it's a great product.
And Blink now, of course, works with Alexa as well. So for those of you with the Alexa home system or assistant or whatever you call her, blinkprotect.com/FTL to get yours at 15% off. As we continue here, we've been talking about Cody Wilson, who is the libertarian hero who is now facing an unfortunate felony charge of so-called sexual assault. And I keep saying that because I'm sorry it's not real sexual assault when it's so-called statutory rape. In other words, basically saying that, oh, well, this girl was under the age of 17, so therefore she's a child is what the law says, and therefore it's sexual assault. Doesn't matter if she consented, because some people actually believe that a 16-year-old cannot consent to things. There are some people who actually believe that out there. Not a single one of them has called our show tonight, but I guarantee you those people are out there.
Yeah, I can see why you may not want your 16-year-old to engage in sexual activity with a 30-year-old. However, I would say that if your 16-year-old is engaging in sexual activity with a 30-year-old and you don't want that to happen, you're in all likelihood abdicating your responsibilities as a parent.
To the police, you mean?
Expecting the rest of society to somehow make that up for you. That's my guess. Now, I'm the parent of a 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. I can't say what it's like to be the parent of a 16-year-old.
You'll find out.
Haven't been that before. Yep. But I have been a 16-year-old. And
me too.
I can say that there was some level of sexual activity going on, and that if my mother or father had found out, Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. They
didn't talk to you about it, though.
Yeah, they would not have said that. They would not have tried to incarcerate the young lady. As a matter of fact, I don't know what the laws were in Florida at the time, and I'm certainly not going to give the young lady's name, but I was, she was 18, I was 16 at the time. So would life be better right now if she had gone to jail? I don't think so.
No, not for anybody. Not for anybody. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So I don't know if there's much else to say about details in this particular case. I feel like we've kind of,
yeah, that's it.
Talked about what we need to talk about here. There is some other controversy that has brewed up today surrounding it, where the Free State Project, which is the sort of one of the migration movements of libertarians to move to New Hampshire, they had announced Cody Wilson as a speaker at their upcoming Liberty Forum event earlier this year, and then all of a sudden dropped him from their website yesterday without any kind of notice whatsoever, without any explanation at all.
Well, there's been explanations since then.
There has been. Yeah. And I called them out on it on my blog at freekeen.com.
But you also called them out when they were having John McAfee there, and they weren't...
You mean when they had John McAfee invited to the Porcupine Freedom Festival?
That's correct.
Their family festival that used to be a lot of fun for people who weren't in families, and then they've sort of converted into a unofficially as a family festival. It hasn't been announced as a family festival, but it's basically become that from the people who've been attending that event in the last couple of years have told me. You mean inviting John McAfee, the guy who, when he was in his 50s, he's now in his 70s, but when he was in his 50s, he had a 16-year-old girlfriend living with,
and I believe that was legal in Belize.
Wherever it was. Yeah, Belize, I think, might have been where he was at that time. But, that guy, they're going to invite him to the Porcupine Freedom Festival after, 1 year after banning me from the event for having basically the same viewpoint. I had a 16-year-old girlfriend when I was in my 30s. Okay.
Well, she got older, and you continued to have her.
I called him out on that. Yeah, I called him out on that in 2017. I called him out on their hypocrisy with Edward Snowden as well. Before they booted me from their events, I was calling them out on things, and I think that there were some people within the Free State Project who didn't like having their number one promoter also being one of their top critics. Somebody who would actually call them on the carpet.
I think that's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. And so the age of consent thing seemed like a convenient excuse for them to kick me to the curb, as though I was going to stop paying attention to their hypocrisy and stop pointing it out. So
clearly that didn't work.
Yeah. So anyway, I pointed it out here in the Cody Wilson case, and then all of a sudden, a few hours after I posted this article, a tweet showed up on the Free State Project's Twitter that says, quote, Cody Wilson is no longer listed as a speaker for Liberty Forum because of recent legal proceedings make it unclear he will be able to attend. Mr. Wilson was invited to speak about the intersection of the First and Second Amendment and is still welcome to do so. More to come. So I'm glad to hear that the Free State Project has continued to extend an invitation to Cody Wilson, knowing that they will likely face quite a bit of backlash from the people who are quite nasty towards folks like me and Cody, who, again, we don't know if the allegations are true in Cody's case, but presuming the allegations are true and that he actually did have intercourse with a 16-year-old, that, he's basically got the same opinion that I do. And so I'm glad to hear that they're bringing him back into the fold here. The mistake, of course, that they made was not explaining what they did when they did it. They just quietly pulled him down from their website without bothering to put up an explanation at the same time. If you go in and edit your website, you're in there. You can go ahead and type up an explanation of like, my God, our top keynote speaker, the person who occupied the top left position on the speakers list on the website, my God, he's been arrested. We wish you the best, Cody. We're going to try to get in touch with you, and hopefully you can still make it to the Liberty Forum, but for right now, we're going to have to pull you down as a speaker because we don't know if you're going to be out of a prison cell.
That'd be a great thing to have done.
Yeah, just a quick little statement of why you, disappeared somebody from your website. Now, the fact that it came out a day later, okay, better late than never. Did it have to do with the fact that I put an article out? Maybe. That may have been a factor in why they decided to go ahead and put a statement out.
Might be related, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the latest drama here about that.
I can kind of see why.
There's a long story at freekeen.com.
Oh, yeah. I can see the drama goes on for years between you and the Free State Project, long before you were you'd quit over being
Well, I don't
banned
call
and
it.
all that.
I mean, it's not really drama when I do it, because ultimately I'm just calling people out on hypocrisy and calling them out on inconsistency. Because if you're a libertarian movement and you purport to be libertarian, then you ought to be libertarian on all the issues. And they're very libertarian on drug policy. They got Lynn Ulbricht coming to speak again about Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road and that status, which is great. They're very libertarian on gun rights and the right to self-defense. What about the right to do with your body what you please? Apparently not so libertarian on that. We're coming up here in moments. 855, 450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
Healthcare reform is confusing. With the loss of the Obamacare mandate, those needing help can now choose an affordable alternative. By joining Liberty HealthShare, you're part of a community of health-conscious Americans all over the country who control their own healthcare costs and choices. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of their medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Since we've been talking about sex here and there throughout the show tonight, I've got a story about sex robots. Sex brothel robots. And we'll get into that. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, I do want to make sure you know about the Texas Bitcoin Conference, which is, we were actually hoping to meet up with Cody Wilson. I believe you'd secured a ticket for him, as a matter of fact.
I sent him an email.
Did you hear back from him, or was that like
Nope.
right? That was like right before this news
within
broke.
2 days before this news broke, I sent him an email offering him one of our tickets. We gotten several of them for the Texas Bitcoin Conference. That tends to happen when you're a media sponsor.
Yeah.
And we're delighted to go, and it's gonna be really awesome. But I didn't get a response, and then I heard about what happened to him, and I'm sad.
Yeah, it's awful news. And again, if you want more on Cody Wilson, then grab our Friday and Wednesday shows. We spent a lot of time on it there. You can always do that over at freetalklive.com, or just head over to freekeen.com, where I wrote up a long piece about it, about some of the controversy surrounding it today. Also, again, Texas Bitcoin Conference is happening October 27th and 28th, so it's coming up fast. We're talking about 5 weeks, basically, from now. The Texas Bitcoin Conference is an excellent event. Mark, you and I have had the pleasure of attending all 4 years in a row.
That's true.
And we've watched it kind of change and go to different locations. Every year they're in a different location, which is kind of interesting. You don't ever get familiar with the territory, but you get familiar with the people, and you're going to see some of the same old great faces like Paul Snow from Factum, Bruce Fenton of Ravencoin. This one I don't know, though. Professor John M. Griffin. Do you know who that one is, Mark? That speaker?
Yeah. Yes, he's a finance guy. Yeah.
There's going to be all kinds of brilliant finance, cryptocurrency people that are going to be all over the Texas Bitcoin Conference. So if you're going to be in the region, come on out. You're going to want to see this. TexasBitcoinConference.com. You can go get your tickets there now, and you will see us there because we'll be there broadcasting our show from the Texas Bitcoin Conference. Again, October 27th and 28th. They're moving it into one of those hotel conference centers, I think, this time. So it'll be nice because the hotel will be right there on site. Last year it wasn't on site, so you had to kind of truck into the
They've
location.
had some really great venues, and I hope this one's as good.
TexasBitcoinConference.com. We will hope to see you there. So here's the story. Speaking of Texas, another story out of Texas. This one coming from Houston's KTRK, where it seems the days of the blow-up dolls are a thing of the past. Were there ever blow-up dolls days?
Did they? Oh, the days of blow-up dolls?
Yeah.
I would not know.
Now, more realistic robots are stepping in. Steve Schellist, a lawyer, says, quote, "As disgusting as some people may find it, I think under the law, it's legal." What's he referring to? Well, he's talking about a man whose company, currently based in Toronto, has told media outlets there's a big market for his sex robots, and he's planning to bring
He's probably right.
Planning to bring his robot brothel to the Bayou City. Quote, "As we sit here today, for those types of products being sold, used, or rented is legal," the attorney said. He said there's a statute in Texas Penal Code that would make his business or this business illegal, but that law banning those types of businesses was ruled unconstitutional 10 years ago. So Schellist said, quote, as of right now, the behavior that's listed in the statute is constitutional. It's permissible. So yes, he can come here and set up shop. Not so fast, though.
We've got to change the law very quickly.
One local organization who's caught wind of the plans is quickly trying to press the brakes. There's already a petition circulating online. Micah Gamboa with Elijah Rising says, "We were absolutely horrified. Leaders of Elijah Rising have been cracking down on human trafficking and feel, get this, that this type of robot brothel will only set them back." Now, can you explain to me, I know, Mark, you're not a member of Elijah Rising.
Nope.
And there's probably nobody listening who's a member of Elijah Rising. But if you agree with this perspective, that robot brothels are going to set back the efforts of people who are trying to stop human trafficking, can somebody explain to me how they come up with that one?
The idea is that if the sexual perversion is fed, that it will only grow and foster. I would actually take the counterpoint. I would say that people who don't get sexual attention from the opposite sex, and I don't know if that includes robots. I can't. There's no science. I can't speak to that. But there is I have heard even from psychiatrists that, well, although there isn't a really good study, that they can say that incidences of mental health, the claim was, unscientifically, incidences of mental health are higher where prostitution is illegal.
It's interesting. And certainly, I mean, we've all known people who change their behavior once they get laid, right? It's like, oh yeah, so-and-so got laid. You know, you can tell.
I
sometimes.
think perversion happens, right? Like, I believe in perversion. I don't think anybody should be locked up for it, but I believe in it. And I think that perversion happens when you stay in your head as opposed to acting out in the real world. You find yourself a good woman in this world, and she's not going to let you do a whole bunch of weird, perverted things. That's my theory, anyway.
I'm sure there's some people out there that would tell you, you know, there's kink websites or whatever, right? Like people are into all kinds of weird
those people
things.
can do whatever they want.
And I'm sure they're good people too, Mark. Those folks.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's a good person, Ian. There's no bad people, right?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said I wouldn't say that the people on the various kink websites are bad people because they do weird things sexually.
I don't know what the kinky people do. I said I believe in perversion.
Ask Daryl.
I don't know what that is either.
Daryl's our co-host.
Yes, he is.
He hosts with us.
I said I believe in perversion. That is, you equated that with kink in your mind, and that's fine.
Okay. I was just, perversion to me, or oh God, what's the word I'm looking for here? It starts with a D, but I'm spacing on what it is right now. But anyway, deviance.
Okay.
Those terms seem to be things that come about as a result of some level of sexual oppression. I think it's a way that people manifest their sexual repression in more unusual sexual interests. It seems that way to me. But then again, that may not be true for everybody. Because you always wonder, like, how do people get into whatever it is that they're into? You know, if you're into feet, if you're into whips and chains, if you're into, fill in the blank, diapers. There's a lot of weird stuff out there. Some, more common, I imagine, than others. I was actually on, I mentioned the dating websites earlier. There was some woman who commented that she gets a surprising amount of inquiries from men who are into diapers, apparently. So,
yuck.
It's bizarre. But if you want to comment on any of that, you're certainly welcome to. But now we're talking about sex robots, which, the sex robot doesn't care if you put a diaper on it or observe their feet or whatever. So you would think that this is actually not going to have any effect whatsoever on people who would get involved in sex trafficking, which is what this group here, Elijah Rising, is saying they're concerned with. They say further, quote, "Our biggest concern is that this sex brothel with robots is going to train men to become rapists."
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, I can't even believe I'm reading this on ABC13.com. I mean, it sounds like something that's a satire piece, but there are actually people who believe this. And how you would take, the belief that somebody wants to have sex with a robot to extend that to the idea that that will turn them into an actual rapist of a human being is just beyond a belief.
Yeah, regardless what these lunatics think, I'm curious as to how you could outlaw a place that has sex robots. I don't even know.
That's an interesting question.
There's not a zoning category for this.
They'll make one. They'll make a zoning category for it, but you're talking about outlawing it completely, right? You're talking about...
I'm just talking about a zoning category at this point.
Well, zoning category is a way to push it to the industrial sector and, get them out of neighborhoods or whatever.
I'm not sure that there's...
But
this doesn't fit into any current definition, so you should be able to open this up anywhere.
Well, I mean, it would be likely under whatever sexual business regulations they have.
It'd have to be commercial.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't support zoning, just to be clear, but I'm just kind of trying to, imagine where they would put this. They would likely put it in wherever it is they've got the lingerie parlors, where they got the strip clubs, whatever adult entertainment section, because ultimately, presumably there would be rooms into which the people who want to hire the robot would take the robot or go into, and then they find the robot. Then they have some amount of time to do whatever it is they want to do with the robot. I don't know how much these robots are capable of these days, but I imagine that list will increase over time.
If it's just heavy petting now, it'll get to be more.
Yeah, so if you want to comment here, there's another ridiculous statement here. I mean, the ridiculous statements from Elijah Rising continue to increase, and we'll share the next one with you here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
NOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in here toll free as we continue. We're doing the live Saturday edition of the show. And as always, you can join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're having uncomfortable conversations tonight because we talked about things like age of consent. And now talking about sex robots and some of the absolutely ludicrous things being said against a proposed business that may be coming to Houston, Texas. And apparently it already exists, or at the very least the manufacturer exists in Canada, in Toronto. And they're planning on opening up a store or a brothel or whatever you call a place where you pay to have sex with a robot. So normally...
Is it just a test drive? I mean, you know...
Yeah, can you take it home if you like it at the end of the night? I don't know. Good question. I imagine they'd be happy to sell you their floor model.
I imagine they would.
So that's what we're talking about here. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us at 855-450-FREE. And these, do bring up larger questions. And we haven't really scratched the surface of the bigger questions here, which is to say, if indeed people start using robots for sex, what will that do to relationships?
I don't know. It's going to be very bizarre. It's going to be a bizarre world.
Because we already
have a generation is just not that interested in getting out of their parents' house, not that interested in getting married.
Or getting off their phone.
Comparatively, I'm not saying that they're not interested in, just not that.
The numbers are noticeably different.
Noticeably different than previous generations, right? I would think that
they're having sex less often as teenagers.
Yeah, so I hear.
They don't hang out as often.
Yeah. And
when they hang out, it's online. Not the same.
Supposedly, on these dating apps, the women are far more forward than they would have been in my time. So I don't know.
So we're sharing with you a story here from a Houston television station, ABC 13 KTRK, where they've interviewed some busybody named Micah Gamboa with an organization called Elijah Rising. And I have not looked yet to see what their website is like, but I bet you, if they have one, I bet you it's pretty entertaining because
he cares deeply about what you're doing with robots.
Just the three quotes, or no, we've only read 2 of the 3 quotes here. One of them is that this Elijah Rising group believes somehow that they're concerned with human trafficking, and that's a legitimate thing to be concerned with.
Yes, let's be concerned with that. Very much so.
That's slavery. That's human sex slavery, and that needs to stop, no doubt about it. But they actually feel that the robot brothel is somehow going to set back efforts to stop human trafficking. Further, saying, quote, their biggest concern, is that the sex brothel is going to, with robots, is going to train men to become rapists. Huh?
Yeah, this is just one more of the symptoms out there that scorns male sexuality. Okay, so in this world, it is brave and stunning. It is bold for a woman to be sexually expressive. Yeah. It is any male sexual expression is despicable, and I get it. I mean, like I don't think it's that great semen either, but ultimately, you got to let adults do whatever adults are going to do. It's free. Like you are free to choose to give somebody money, and you're free to have sex with somebody. You should be free to have sex with somebody for money, let alone all this other stuff. Now, if you're talking about trafficking of underage people against their will, slavery, these kinds of things, I'm with you completely. But tell me how, segmenting the sex work market and bringing it onto non-consensual inanimate objects is somehow going to increase the demand for underage sex. My belief
No. They didn't say anything about underage sex. That's the next quote.
Well, no, underage sex is so.
The quote was about men becoming rapists. This particular quote. And I'm sorry. Look, I don't know what it's like to be a rapist, but I suspect what I've heard is, for a lot of them, it's about the control.
I have heard that myself.
Yes. It's about using force against somebody and getting their way and all of that. A robot, it's completely under your control. It's not the same situation at all. The robot, I guess you could program it to fight back. You could probably have,
if a robot decides to fight back, you're going to get a broken neck.
You could probably have, well, that would go against the laws of robotics. But let's go to Richard. He's in Aberdeen, Washington. Richard, you're listening to KBKW out there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You guys have been talking about this. It's kind of ironic because I saw this a few years ago on television.
What's that?
They have these dolls, these human-like women that look real, the touch is even real. And they start out at $5,000.
Yeah, I don't know what the pricing is, but I'll bet that they've come down. I bet there's competition in the marketplace.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure, but they look terrific.
So wait a minute. All right, are you telling me that you'd buy one of these things?
No, I wouldn't. No, I don't have $5,000.
Oh, wait. So if you did have $5,000, if you had $50,000, would you buy one?
No, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't even buy one.
Okay.
I'd have to ask my wife where I could keep it.
Do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Can I keep it in the closet?
I wonder how many people would admit to it, though. Like, of the people who...
Yeah.
Like, if you were actually interested in this thing, and I asked you if you were interested, you might not tell me you were interested, because your neighbors might be listening to you. So I wonder,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's an ex-iron worker.
Uh-huh.
I think he would do it, and I think he would ask his wife if he could keep it in the closet, to be honest with you.
Richard, I thank you for the call. Any other comment you want to share tonight? Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Richard, out there in Aberdeen, listening to KBKW, great station, airing us for a long time on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a real quick overview on this, but
on what?
On what the pricing of these real sex dolls are.
Okay, that's one of the brands I've heard. Yep, Real Doll.
Yeah, there's some kind of guarantee on quality.
Cheap.
Yeah,
they're not definitely not cheap. The toll-free number tonight, but I don't know if that's what we're talking about. The story here. It actually is not a very good story. It's just the reason I picked it was because it's got ridiculous quotes from this Elijah Rising group, and I thought that was the most interesting part. But it doesn't really tell you about what are these robots? Are they different from just a doll? Does the robot when you think robot, you think a thing that has the ability to animate, the ability to move on its own. When you think a doll, you don't think that. You just think a thing that just lays there. You can maybe pose the doll. So what makes the robot different from one of these dolls? This story doesn't have that. In fact, it's such a bad piece. I don't even think they mention. Yeah, they don't even mention the name of the company. So it just talks generally about this guy who's got a company in Toronto that's moving to Houston.
I don't care whether the story is true or not. For me, what the concept is that look, ladies and gentlemen, if currently exists the technology to make some kind of nearly animate male and female device with which people will want to copulate. I think that's clear.
It's coming for sure.
And if people want it, it will now be available soon in your town. My guess. I am not a lawyer. I have not read the laws in your town. My guess is that it's probably not illegal to have this.
They're going to change that. In the southern conservative Bible Belt towns or whatever, they are going to run these people out of town.
I am from the South, and as are you. We're from the same general geographic area.
We're from Sarasota, Florida, which some people say
You're
isn't
from
the real
Sarasota.
South.
I'm from Bradenton.
All right, fine. Yeah, you are from east of the interstate, so yeah, you qualify.
Yeah, and all up and down Sarasota's famous North Trail, you've got basically brothels.
Prostitutes, yeah.
Well, not just the prostitutes walking up and down. Yeah. You've got basically brothels. These intimate massage parlors, I don't know, bathhouses, all kinds of things.
You're not saying the people are turning tricks at the Baha'i Hut, are you?
Absolutely not.
Okay. That's where the jingle's from, by the way, for people who have no idea.
Baha'i Hut's been redone, by the way. It is...
It's still there?
It's much cooler than it was.
I've actually never been in there. We're totally off topic here because nobody else knows what the Baha'i... If you've been in Sarasota for any amount of time, but because you've heard the ads.
Yep.
But toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. Let's bring Larry in here in Indianapolis listening to WIBC. Go ahead, Larry.
How you doing now?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Hey, you talk about prostitution. That's one of the old cliche. There must be prostitution because now with the Me Too movement, you don't dare go out and try to get a date from a woman or ask her any questions about anything. The first thing you do is when you get some money that you want to sacrifice in that way, right? You run and try to find you a prostitute and cut a deal with her.
I think, Larry, hang on. I'll bring it back here in a moment because we can continue the discussion. I think you're making an interesting point, and that is with all the dark clouds of legal troubles that seem to hang over relationships these days, can you blame somebody for saying, you know what? There's a doll over there. Why would I want to deal with all the risk of a court case
for $1,500?
Yeah, more coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, September 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,200 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,679. Antiwar.com reports the last official figures on Afghan military deaths came out in 2016. 22 soldiers were killed on an average day, and this was so bad that Afghan and U.S. officials decided that death tolls would subsequently be kept secret. Things have just gotten worse, and 22 deaths would be a comparatively mild day compared to media reports on the death tolls in recent days. In the past week, the average day has seen roughly 57 deaths among Afghan security forces. The Pentagon's recent decision to more heavily publicize Taliban body counts to try to sell the war to the administration likely comes from the same place as the decision to keep Afghan military deaths secret, as this will just reveal the extent of the conflict's failures. The Afghan government wants to avoid publicizing it, in particular because it's having a negative effect on recruitment. The Afghan military doesn't pay well, and the hugely dangerous reality of the job would just further harm their already struggling recruiting numbers. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports one of the last remaining points of contention in the trade negotiations between the United States and Canada is whether Canada will allow the U.S. to freely export its dairy products. Canada uses high tariffs to restrict dairy imports from the United States and other countries. While the system benefits Canadian dairy farmers, industry leaders say it costs the American dairy industry dearly. Chris Galen, a spokesman for the National Milk Producers Federation, said Canada is essentially walled off from the rest of the world. We want the opportunity to sell our dairy products in the Canadian market. Canada is trying to prevent that from happening. The issue has the two countries in a standoff, with both sides trying to act in the best interest of their farmers. Al Mussel, lead researcher for Agri-Food Economic Systems, said by keeping foreign milk out of its market, Canada is able to control the supply and maintain consistent dairy prices. This system protects Canada's small dairy farmers from the volatile international market. Such a system does not exist in the United States, where dairy prices have dropped to historic lows and dairy farms across the country are struggling to stay in business. But opening the Canadian market for U.S. milk means Canadian farmers would have to relinquish some of their market access. And since Canada's system protects small farms, the cost of milk production there is much higher than in the United States. Canadian farmers would have a hard time competing with their southern neighbors. Trade negotiations between the two countries resumed on Thursday with no sign of a resolution over dairy market access. If a trade deal is not reached soon, Canada could be left out, as President Donald Trump has reached an agreement with Mexico, the third party to the 1994 North American Free Trade Agreement. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Duke Energy said it shut down a North Carolina natural gas plant due to flooding as the deluge of water continued in the aftermath of Hurricane Florence, which has killed more than 40 people. Duke Energy also said it cannot rule out the possibility that coal ash from another plant is flowing into nearby waters. Water breached the Cooling Lake Dam at Duke's 625-megawatt natural gas LV Sutton plant, causing the company to shut the plant down. Water is now exiting the Cooling Lake through breaches, one large and several smaller, according to the company in a statement on Friday. However, the company later in the day issued a statement saying the situation remains stable at the plant. The company did not provide any further information on the status of the incident. Hurricane Florence brought several feet of rain to parts of North Carolina over a period of days, and the historic level of storm flooding is not expected to subside until next week. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. Hager physicists have created quantum slacks. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The stunning announcement that a team of Hager physicists has successfully developed quantum slacks was made this morning at a press conference in Philadelphia. According to Dr. Daniel Chang, head of the Hager team, conventional notions about the physical properties and possibilities of slacks have been turned on their heads.
We are on the verge of unzipping the secrets of creation and peering into the pants of God himself. It appears the very fabric of the universe may well be a smart cotton twill weave.
However, Chang urged caution in further research after tests conducted last month at the Hager Pants Propulsion Collider Laboratory in Dallas suggested the possible existence of so-called anti-pants, which could, in theory, initiate a chain reaction resulting in no pants at all. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
It's 855-450-3733. Sex robots back in the news. Now, there's apparently a plan afoot to open up a sex robot brothel in Houston, Texas. KTRK reporting and interviewing some busybodies who want to see that stopped. They're a group called Elijah Rising, and I did finally go over to their website. It's actually a decent-looking site. They say their mission is to end sex trafficking through prayer, awareness, intervention, and restoration. And
I like the intervention, restoration, and awareness thing.
You're probably not going to pray it away.
You're probably not going to pray it away.
But and then they go into more about what they do, and I think it's great if you're actually trying to stop actual sex trafficking. That's great, but to then attack a legitimate business of somebody wanting to sell sex robots or sell time with sex robots or whatever it is this business is going to look like, because we don't really know yet. But to attack them and say that it's actually going to let me pull the quotes up again here, and then we'll get back into your calls. Quote, she says, this is Micah Gamboa, one of their spokespeople. Our biggest concern is that this sex brothel with robots is going to train men to become rapists. Then she goes on. What's next? Is it child robots? Where's the line? Where is the boundary? Unquote.
I think it's a good question. Where is the boundary?
Which boundary?
I mean, if you're if you don't like sex generally, you're going to ask this question: where is the boundary? And I think that while people may philosophically understand that, well, sex with robots is not in and of itself prostitution. It may be distasteful to me, but it's just a thing, they will most assuredly, many of those numbers will fall off when those sex robots go from, the bunny ears and the big rack and the big fanny and all that stuff to something that looks very much like a child. That's like things will change. People's opinions will change.
There was already a news story about that, and I don't remember what the legal status was, but there's already a push to outlaw sex dolls that are child-sized or whatever, right? That's there's already a movement of people who are arrayed against that. They want to put a stop to that. So I think the news story I read said that the doll manufacturer just changed the doll from a child to an alien. So basically the same size, short little thing or whatever, turn it into an alien doll instead. And that's apparently completely legal. So again, are we going to have a war on sex dolls now? Are there going to be police going in and searching shipping containers, raiding back rooms at sex shops, and arresting people for selling dolls that are under 5 feet tall or whatever? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Well, I want to get back to Larry. He's hanging on here in Indianapolis. Larry, you had an interesting point that you were bringing up. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get it out there. So go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying is if we solve the problem of interaction between male and female and a man understands that nothing is free, the concept most colored men have is I can take this because I'm stronger. And just look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, who if he was in that room with some housekeeper, he could have said, "Here, baby, here's $5,000. Come on, let's go." Or Mike Tyson and said, "Here's $20,000, baby. Come on, let's go." He could have got his date. He wouldn't have to worry about all that stuff. But like I say, it's a psychological thing. Men have to understand if you don't have a steady job and money coming in, you might as well forget about having a woman. Of course, you got to have sex, either with a robot or whoever you have it with. It's not going to be for free. So I think that's what's destroying our whole concept in this country is free sex and trying to get free sex. And with the advent of the internet porn, where 2- and 3-year-old kids are watching porn clips,
That seems unlikely.
It is, and you got somebody like Beyonce running around showing everything, hopping on chairs and stuff. You see the little color girls looking like prostitutes, each and every one of them.
Oh, well, now wait a minute. There's plenty of white girls that are humping things and taking their clothes off.
Looking like prostitutes, but we need to just shut our mouths and let it go on and continue to where it's going. And robots are a good thing.
So you're saying you support the robot sex? You're supporting the robot brothel?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want a robot sex when you can go out here and cut you a deal and get you something.
So you'd rather pay a woman to have sex with you
I'd
than...
rather. I sure would.
Okay.
I would pay that because it's nothing like the real thing. And fact of it is there's going to be plenty of women out here after they are marginalizing themselves and becoming pariahs with the Me Too movement and the feminists. Why don't the feminists go after the pornography women that are getting abused and gangbanged and everything? Because they're watching porn on their iPhone. So they just need to
Wait, are you saying the feminists are watching porn?
They're watching porn. Yes, they're watching porn.
Well, I don't think they want you to know that. If that's the case, they don't want you to know that.
I bet you they'll run out of the room before you can get to
Larry, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. A bit of a disjointed explanation, but essentially suggesting that there was he had a concern for the idea of relationships in the United States or around the world with the advent of sex robots. At the beginning of his call in the last hour, he has brought up the Me Too. I think he mentioned it there again. The idea that there's this sort of overhanging fear surrounding a lot of sex. We've heard of colleges in California and New York, and I bet it spread from there, but it was a few years ago that we talked about California and New York colleges.
Where you've got to ask permission for every step.
Every step. Yeah. You want to touch your leg, you want to touch up there, you want to go and wherever, you got to ask permission. Is this okay? Can I touch you here?
And this is fine. If this is the game you want to play with the person that you're having sex with, that's really awesome. But
it's a mandate on the school campus. That ain't a game.
Well, that's just perverts telling other people how they have to have sex, as far as I'm concerned. Well, you've got to play this particular game when you have sex.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I was 18 in high school, college, that sort of thing. It was, at least not in my particular spheres, it was not common to even ask a young lady before you kissed her. You got sort of social cues.
Part of the excitement of it, right?
Right. You got social cues. You had some idea this was coming. Was it complicated? Sure.
Yeah.
It was complicated.
Yep.
Did I go in one time for a kiss and get a cheek turned to me? I did once.
Yep.
And it was embarrassing. And I was more careful in the future. But, I don't... all that extra stuff is just other people's business, not my business. And if it's consensual, I just don't care. And robots don't have consent. So
not yet.
Whatever you're doing with what is basically a rubber device, that's your business.
I don't buy the claim that these things look... I mean, you were just pulling up the real dolls. You were just researching, of course, Mark. Just in case Laura, your wife, is listening, Mark's just researching. You pulled up the pricing, I think.
Also looked up Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, which is a Marvin Gaye song. I just wanted to be able to...
Good song.
Yeah, cue it up, maybe, if I had to.
You were reviewing the prices because somebody had called earlier and said they were $5,000 several years ago, and you were wondering if they had gone down in
like
price.
$1,500. Being the bargain shopper that I am, I immediately found on the website that I was on that they had basically already produced ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are... I sincerely hope they're not returns.
Not used. Don't worry, we've sanitized the product.
I don't
trust us.
This is not an advocation of anything, but they were between $1,500 and $1,600 for like a full, complete deal.
Now, I mean, you've looked at the product. I've seen pictures of these in the past. I'm sorry, they don't look real at all to me. It looks like a damn doll. It looks like
It doesn't look like a human being.
Right. No, it doesn't at all. I mean, I know our caller earlier was like, the touch feels the same. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that. But I think that eventually it will. Once we get to the point where robotics and artificial intelligence, obviously we're talking about a scientific sci-fi future here, but who doesn't believe that's going to come about, right? Like, Terminator, realistic looking robots, realistic acting robots. Not this. This is, Generation 0 or whatever. This is nothing compared to what it could end up being like.
Some people seem very satisfied with them.
I imagine they are. But in the event that there really is a robot that can successfully masquerade as a human being, that also will kind of change things. So we seem to be on that road. If you want to share your thoughts on the future of relationships with the advent of these robots, sex robots, it's Free Talk Live.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here if you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We are moving into, and some would say a lot faster than humans are able to handle, a new technological age that is apparently resulting in sex robot brothels. That's the next thing. Whether they'll actually be successful or not is another question, but apparently some guy wants to open one in Houston, Texas. And some people are very upset about that. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Mark.
A lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author, and he's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. Since September of 2013, Tom Woods has put out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday. Over 1,200 episodes so far. Great guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. Topics including war, Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics. I don't know if he's talked about sex robots, but 1,200 is a lot of episodes, so it's possible. Find the Tom Woods Show.
He's a good Catholic guy.
Yeah, probably not going to cover that one.
Yeah, I think not.
Tom Woods Show, but he's really brilliant guy, and so it's great when we've had him on here too. Tom Woods Show, you can go to tomwoods.com or just search Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. Once again, that's tomwoods.com. As we continue here, we've been talking about sex robots. Some people are up in arms about this. They are mad that somebody wants to actually open a sex robot brothel in Houston, Texas, and claiming that it could actually, the opposition here from Elijah Rising is the name of their group, claims that sex brothel with robots could train men, or they say it's gonna train men to become rapists. What's next? Is it child robots? Where's the line? Where is the boundary? The story here continues a little bit more. It says each doll has a name, a look, and a price tag in the thousands of dollars if you want to buy one. But customers can also rent before they buy, getting a room and a doll of their choice where they can play and have fun, according to the website.
This is a showroom with test drives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quote, fulfilling fantasies without limitations, unquote. And so then one more comment here from the Elijah Rising group says,
I suspect there are all kinds of limitations on these fantasies, by the way.
So far, yes.
Right. If you wanted to smear the sex doll and yourself in peanut butter and run down the street,
you're going to have to pay more for that.
Well, yeah. You're going to pay for
it's a lot of cleanup in that. No, a little more than the typical cleanup. Gamboa said, quote, "We can't allow these kind of public masturbation businesses to operate in our city."
At least he properly calls it what it is.
It's actually a woman, Micah, and she's actually not bad looking.
What difference does it make?
Just saying. So some people have suspected that those who are against prostitution are those who, are on the uglier side, but that's not always the case. Ultimately, prostitution does provide a level of competition for all women as far as, in the dating marketplace. And adding in...
Doesn't it provide a certain amount of competition for men, too?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there are male sex robot dolls things.
True.
So,
But I'm saying for heterosexual sex, as far as, there's a certain amount of women out there, and they would prefer there not be prostitutes to add into the available sexual mix, so to speak. And now, if you add in robots on top of that, will that lower the price of a female prostitute, an actual human prostitute? Because if now you can go and spend less, because they don't actually have to pay the robot, right? Like the pimp. Whoever it is that's running this brothel.
I think pimp is the wrong term, but all right.
Whatever the word you want to refer to a man who deals in sex with a robot instead of dealing in sex with a female person. But so anyway, my question is, if this becomes a thing, if the Houston sex robot thing works out and they expand to more locations and then competitors enter into the business and you've got a healthy, is that the right word? If you've got a live business there with people making money.
A going concern.
The amount's going to be lower, right, to have a sex robot because you don't have to pay the girl. And
I would say demand would decrease. I think they think that would
demand for an actual prostitute.
Demand for an actual prostitute would decrease. So seems pretty obvious that a certain amount. I drove a cab, so I have picked people up and dropped people off at these no-tell motels, and I've been told what they're going to do there.
Mm-hmm.
And
were you told the rates?
I didn't ask a lot of questions. I don't want to talk about this stuff. So no, I didn't.
Okay.
What I wanted to do was get off the night shift.
Yeah.
And it was so much better when I wasn't on it. But anyway, I understand that some people just wouldn't care, right? They're in this for what they're in it for, and they wouldn't care. They
wouldn't care whether it was a robot or a human.
Some of them didn't care if it was female.
I imagine that's true. Let's go to the phones here and talk to David. He's in Missouri. David, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, interesting conversation.
Thanks.
Yeah, you asked the question earlier with how you thought this would affect relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's going to stay exactly the same. We don't have relationships anymore. Everybody's got their face glued to the stupid cell phones. No matter where you go, you take somebody out on the date, and they want to sit there and text and have their face glued to a phone. I mean,
has that happened to you on dates where that's been the case?
Oh yeah. I mean, and then as far as the entertainment value of robots, we've degenerated. I heard stories. I'm a truck driver, unfortunately.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
And for years, I'd go down by the Mexican border, and I'd hear people talk about coming over here to Boys Town and Tijuana. And I don't know. Do you know the stories behind what goes on over there? I mean,
I've heard the stories of Tijuana. I would prefer not to mention them on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting that.
Can you give me an example without being graphic? I mean, because obviously there's only so many things you can say on the.
Well, I mean, yeah, without being real graphic, was men being entertained by women having sex with animals.
Oh my!
I can't believe that you get this. You've made it to 37 years old and you haven't heard these stories
about bestiality in Tijuana. No, I have not heard those stories.
I've heard it. I don't know that it's true, but I've heard it.
Okay, so that's a little different than a lot lizard, I guess, huh?
I mean, it's supposedly was true. I don't know if it's still going on, but I've talked to so many people that supposedly seen it. And then one guy that was a story of a guy that a friend of a friend that took a guy that was a pretty good Christian went over there and just to he didn't know what he was getting into, and he literally was in tears when he seen what was going on. And then, you know, the point about the child, you know, child dolls, you know, they're supposedly, you know, there was areas in Mexico where that catered to the pedophile. You know, I mean, you know, I've heard stories like that. So, you know, robots robots made like a child. Boy, I just off the charts seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, thank you, David, for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. You know, I mean, there's different opinions about this, right? The one side says, well, if you give a pervert a sex doll, they're less likely to actually do something to a real child. The other side says, no, you can't give them anything that would play into whatever fantasy it is that they have.
Right.
So the reality is these things are going to be made, whether they're made as aliens or marketed however they're marketed, they're going to be out there. It's Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we're proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of styles and sizes for any occasion. To find yours, visit gusset.com. That's GUSSET.com. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty media outlets like the one you're listening to. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here and take control of the airwaves. The number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight in the studio with you, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also coming up, Anarchapulco. It's not around the corner, but it's going to be here sooner rather than later. We're talking about maybe about 5 months.
Them selling out is around the corner.
Yeah, you better believe that. It wouldn't surprise me if they sold out before the end of the year at the rate that they're going. So you want to get your tickets soon. This was a sellout in 2018, this year's event. In 2019, it'll be from February 14th through the 17th, and they're bringing Ron Paul back, which means sellout. So go and get your tickets now over at anarchapulco.com, code FTL. That saves you 15%. It is the first year you get to save because you're a Free Talk Live listener, and we're excited because we get to go back and have fun meeting a lot of you there.
Great.
We met some of you for the first time this year, and it's always fun to meet listeners who maybe they're not new to the show, but they're new to us in that we haven't met them before. Because not everybody who listens calls the show. Probably only less than 1% of 1% ever does actually call in. So come on out and see us, but also you get to see Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Doug Casey, Larkin Rose. I hear David Icke is going to be speaking there, and we ought to go and check and see if they've added any other speakers to the list, because I know they're going to keep adding them as the end of the year approaches. It's going to be the largest gathering of free thinkers, voluntarists, libertarians, and anarcho-capitalists happening in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico, among the sun and beaches of a world-class resort. Great speeches covering topics including entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships.
I got Cynthia McKinney.
She's back.
Larkin Rose.
Cynthia McKinney, who is now identifying as an anarchist. Remember? We actually talked to her last year. It was amazing.
Vít Jedlička, the president of Liberland.
He's back.
Yeah.
Very international, by the way, this particular event. People come from all over the world.
It's great. It's going to be a great event.
Anarchapulco.com, use code FTL, and you'll get your 15% off. So do that sooner rather than later. They're over halfway to being sold out, according to the most recent numbers I saw, and that was last week. So Anarchapulco.com, code FTL. As we continue here, we go to your calls and thoughts. We've got Larry on the line in South Carolina listening to WTMA there in Charleston. Go ahead, Larry.
Good evening.
Hey, welcome.
I wanted to bring up something, that you could sort of stretch your imagination, but it's not much of a stretch. That they are using MakerBots, 3D printing, to make some human tissues.
That's true.
And ligaments and skin. And there are some people doing research on more complicated things that are muscles and organs and that sort of thing.
3D printing organs.
Now, that's research.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but it's coming, right?
Right. It's coming.
Yeah,
if they can print a little bit of skin right now for a craft, it's an organ.
Right. So it's just like getting more complicated, but that just comes with future and technology, and engineering. So I'm wondering what the implications would be if one of these dolls that may have, say, human tissues incorporated into it, where
like a Terminator. Remember? I mean, that's what he was, right?
It could have. Now, it's really, in a way, you might think, how could you do that? Because with a lot of the things that they're doing, you still have to have the human body, to support it with nutrients and blood supply and things like that. But and I don't know how you would get something that sophisticated that you could
Clearly, it eats human flesh. I mean, what else would it do?
Zombie Terminators.
Yeah,
they haven't thought of that yet.
Yeah, well, it's on the way.
Well, are we far from cloning? I'm wondering.
No, we're not.
Deal.
No, I mean, they cloned Dolly the sheep, 2 decades ago?
Right.
I mean, there's been a lot of advances in cloning.
The only thing that's
then.
keeping people from cloning people at this point is
the government.
Ethics.
Yeah, the government probably. Aren't there dog cloning operations in South Korea or China or something?
You can get. I know a guy had a bull. I saw a video of a guy who had his bull cloned. So you can have your pet cloned at this point.
Yeah, and there's a famous, I think, actress who's had 2 of her. Is it Barbara Streisand?
I don't know.
I think it is.
She gets blamed for everything.
She had her dog cloned twice.
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. Larry, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Let's go to Lloyd. He's in Detroit, listening online via the TuneIn app. Hello, Lloyd.
Yo, what up? It's Lloyd in Detroit. Yeah, this sex robot conversation is pretty interesting. But then I got to thinking, what if they made a Lauren Rumpler sex robot and made the nipples like Lauren Rumpler and the butt like Lauren Rumpler?
How much would you pay?
Oh my God, dude! I don't know, but dude, I would love to have sex.
Thanks for the call, Lloyd. I appreciate it. I wonder if she even listens and hears these calls because he is her biggest
Generally
fan.
not.
I don't know if it's creepy or funny or both, but we're going to continue here. Your calls and thoughts. Oreo.
Yes, it looks like Barbara Streisand did clone her dogs.
Oreo is on the line, calling from Missouri. Oreo, you're on our Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you guys, what are your opinions on the Hollow Earth theory? Does it hold up?
No.
Isn't there a book about that? Or more than one, like a fiction book where there's like a whole, what's the idea? That there's a group of people or some kind of denizens down there? It's like a classic book.
The Time Machine?
Yeah, I've never read it. What about you, Oreo?
Journey to the Center of the Earth or what?
Yeah, maybe one of those.
What you were talking about?
Yeah, one of those books. Now, do you actually buy this stuff?
No, not really.
Okay, good. Yeah, we don't either. It's a bunch of crap. And the flat Earth thing, too. That's a bunch of crap as well.
The Earth is obviously hexagonal. Hexagonal.
No, it's toroidal, Mark. Have you seen the toroidal Earth? It looks like a donut. Yeah, we don't believe that crap. Thanks, Oreo, for your call tonight, man. I appreciate it. If you want to join us here, you can. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Or you can jump into the Discord on-air call-in line room, which is what Oreo just did, and that's why he sounded better than the last 10 calls we had.
It's true.
Because
sound better.
Yeah, and it's as easy as using your cell phone. So, like, you don't have to worry about setting up your sound card right on your Windows or Linux computer or whatever. You just install the Discord app on your smartphone, and it's like an instant upgrade to your audio quality when you call our show. And it also gives you the benefit of being able to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the callers. So some of the people you hear calling in, a lot of times they're just hanging out in the chat room. People talking about sex dolls earlier in the chat room. Right now, for whatever reason, they're talking about Kmart going out of business, which I can relate to because I used to work there a long time ago. So you never know what the conversation.
There's 137 people online according to this.
Are there really?
Yeah.
I just actually checked the statistics today, and we've had over 500 active users in just the last 30 days. So the super majority of the people on our server are coming back.
Busy, yeah.
Which is it's great. So I appreciate that. I think people are enjoying things. In fact, I was actually requested by a young lady who was in the chat room. She said, "Hey, why don't you guys have a room for memes?" She says, every Discord that's a big Discord has a room for memes. I said, all right, well, now we have a room for memes. So
got it.
I took one of the existing rooms and kind of just renamed it. We had one that was like a miscellaneous room, so I put the word memes in front of it. Now you have a room for memes. You can put all the memes you want. It's also a not safe for work room. So I figure, memes should be in a not safe for work room.
Makes sense.
You can put some not safe for work. Maybe there's some good sex robot memes out there. I don't know. I have not looked into it, but I imagine that there probably are. And this is going to be an issue that I'm sure will be coming up again in the future as these robots become more prolific, whether or not these brothels end up becoming a successful business is another question. You would think that, I don't know what they're going to charge per hour or 15 minutes or however they're going to break it down, but it's likely going to be cheaper than a human prostitute. And so that brings me back to that question I'd asked before. Is that going to bring prostitutes' prices down? I don't think we ever really answered that. But
seems obvious to me.
You think the answer is yes?
Right. If you're in the fornication marketplace,
they're going to have to compete.
If you're the paid fornication marketplace, then somebody bringing in no strings attached sexual encounter with somebody who can't talk and tell stories, yeah.
And what are we going to see as far as how the government's going to approach this? Are they going to try to arrest these operators of these brothels and charge them with pimping because they are still setting somebody up with a sexual service for money, even though it's with a robot?
Pimping ain't easy.
More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
We are GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. We've got listeners, lots of them. Around the world, around the clock, our listeners do what listeners do. They listen. And you know what listeners got? Needs. Needs for your products, your services, and money to buy those needs. With our network of over 1,000 radio stations, streaming on the web, and our satellite transmissions, we're reaching our listeners with quality conservative programming. But there's something our listeners don't have. Your offer to meet their needs. Any business needs buyers, but if our listeners don't hear your message, they're still going to buy what they need, just not from your business. So let's fix this. Tell us about your business. Then let our super creative department go to work to craft just the right message for our GCN listeners. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just shoot us an email. advertise@gcnlive.com.
Right now, it's looking like tonight's record $500 million Powerball drawing could be cancelled, as embarrassed lottery officials have admitted they lost the balls. Douglas Bronstein, Deputy Director of the Multi-State Lottery Association, addressed the press moments ago. We have a quote, "We know how important the balls are to a successful drawing. I saw them the other day, and I'm sure they'll turn up somewhere." Bronstein says it's usually Marketing Director Ben Callahan's job to keep an eye on the balls, but when reached for comment, Callahan said he just sits next to the balls. It's not his job to know where they are every second of every day. According to Bronstein, it's crucial they find the balls before tonight's drawing. Quote, "We'd love to use different balls, but these ones have the numbers on them." Bronstein added that once they figure out where the balls are, they promise to keep them in some sort of case instead of just lying around the office. When we return, we'll meet some of the undeterred Powerball superfans who are camping out before the big drawing dressed as their favorite numbers.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in here, toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got our Discord on-air call-in line room. Head over, or more than one of them, actually. Head over to discord.lrn.fm and get interactive there. If you appreciate the work that we do here on Free Talk Live, which is to say talking about the ideas of liberty and peace and cryptocurrency 7 nights a week, live on the radio on 190 radio stations throughout the week, throughout the United States. If you like that, you also, of course, we're on the internet, podcasts, streaming. We've even got satellite channels over sub-Saharan Africa and North and Central America. So if you appreciate the work that we do and you want to help support what we're doing, want to help us expand, you want to help us get the ideas of liberty into more ears, then please join the AMP program as Brandon has done. Brandon, who is one of our longest-running amplifiers, he's a silver amplifier, and silver means you're doing the $5 a month. That's what we ask. You can do more if you want, but you go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can sign up just like Brandon did a long time ago. And we're going through our whole list here. Night after night, we're going to read out one name. It's not going to take that long to get through. It won't take a whole year. We don't even have... we just crossed the 200 threshold. So thank you. Sorry, Mark, I forgot to turn your mic on.
Yeah, 200 is great.
I'm very excited about it. I'm glad to be back above 200. We've had as many as 300 or so amplifiers, and actually I was just looking at the old... It's like I have a list of all of our former amplifiers. I think we're up to like 1,600 formers, so we definitely would love to have more on the on side rather than the off side. But then again, the program's been around since 2005, and people come and go for various different reasons.
Sure.
We actually just had a guy re-sign up today. He's been gone 5 years. He's like, I just got back into the show. So he's back.
Great. Welcome back.
I love it. I appreciate it. So if you appreciate what we do, please join the AMP program. It makes a big difference for us. It allows us to reach out to radio stations, program directors, get the show in front of them, and get the ideas of liberty heard by more people. If that's worth something to you, then please back us up over at amp.freetalklive.com. That's ampamp.freetalklive.com. And we haven't screwed up yet this week, Mark, so it's on you tomorrow night to not screw up. We'll have a whole full week where
actually thanking folks?
Actually thanked an amplifier every single night.
Great.
So the pressure's on. So go to amp.freetalklive.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we've been talking a lot about sex here tonight on Free Talk Live. Started out with Cody Wilson and that situation. We spent the first half of the show on that. And then since then, it's been sex robots. Let's go to our resident sexpert. Sarah is on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, you know what? I'm calling in about the lunar landing. I'm sorry, I'm changing subject.
You don't want to talk about sex robot brothels opening up in Albuquerque?
No, I'm more concerned about the Earth was supposed to be moving, rotating. If you're on the
We
moon,
should have put you on with the last caller. I didn't even think. We actually had somebody who was calling in asking about how we felt about the hollow Earth. And, of course, we were just like, yeah, it's a bunch of crap. But you might actually be somebody who believes, I know you want to talk about the moon, but isn't it possible that the moon came out of the Earth and that the Earth is now actually hollow, Sarah?
Well, not that way.
Well, I have no idea what's going on under inside the Earth, but if you're on the moon, you're supposed to be moving around the Earth. The Earth is moving, rotating slowly, and there was a video. It was not just a picture. I remember the man was moving around in the video, and the Earth was supposed to be moving, and so there was a fly on the helmet.
Yeah, what are you saying? I don't get what you're saying. So the Earth rotates, on its axis every 24 hours. That's why you have day and night. The moon goes around and
according to the internet, it orbits the Earth once every 27 days.
And it always is facing the same side to the Earth.
Okay, so it's supposed to be moving. So then it was a video. The man was moving, jumping up and down, but nothing else was moving. So that it was just a picture. So it's a con job. The lunar landing is a hoax.
Okay. I didn't know until you said the lunar landing was a hoax. I had no idea what picture, man jumping up and down. I had no idea what you're talking about. Are you saying that the what was it? Which was it? 11? Which one was the one that landed on the moon?
Several.
One of the Well, there was the first one that was manned, and I don't remember which one that was. They made a movie about it with Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton. Anyway, are you saying that was fake? The whole thing?
Okay, it was just a non-moving picture. Okay, then nothing ever moved. Okay, but there was a video. The man was moving, but the moon, the Earth, and the moon was supposed to be moving slowly, so you could tell. that thing in the background.
It takes 27 days for the moon to orbit the Earth. That's going to be moving pretty slow. You're not going to be able to see that in a quick clip of some guy jumping.
Okay, that's true. Okay, but you're supposed to be able to tell that the Earth was moving slowly in the background, and then they forgot to fake it. So then that's a clue.
How long was this clip?
I don't know. I saw it for maybe like 10, 15 seconds.
Seconds.
I'll get all excited.
Do you
about
understand?
It
takes the Earth an entire day to rotate on its axis.
You know what? They found a fly on the helmet. And they found
I think it's what, 1 degree every. There's a certain number of minutes.
The lunar landings aren't fake.
Whoa, Mark, are you toting water for the government here? What do you know?
I don't know what you're talking about. It would be a lot more difficult to fake the lunar landings
than to actually do it.
There'd be you know what? But I'll tell you the reason why.
My God, thank goodness Sarah doesn't actually get online. I mean, because she would just go completely down the rabbit hole. Because there's all kinds of like fake moon landing websites which will just draw you in, Sarah. I think it's a good thing that you don't go online because you will just we'll never hear from you again.
What? I'm telling you the reason why the government lied is to make the free world, the capitalist world, more superior to the Russians. So the Russians
what makes you think they're telling you the truth now?
Well, you know what? The government is not telling this. They have satellite image photos.
Why do you think the government that would lie to you about something as simple as landing on the moon? I realize it's actually complex to do that, but why would you think the government would lie to you about that, but then tell you the truth about things like red light cameras, some of these other things you call in about all the time?
Well, the government is not telling that. The Red Flex is telling that, and I'm telling you that.
Okay. So the Albuquerque government isn't the government?
Capitalist company is telling us that red light cameras work.
So do you believe everything the government tells you?
Look, the government. I tell the city that I want red light cameras. They don't want to do nothing other than what the voters want to do.
All right. Okay. Sarah, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have the open Discord on-air call-in lines. Comments, Mark, on the moon landing?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Hollow Earth, moon landing?
No.
These are all the same kind of category,
This is horse crap. And if you have no hope of proving it, why would you bother talking about it?
There's some. I got to tell you though, I remember looking into this years ago when somebody brought it up on the air.
Sure, you have to have a rebuttal.
And I looked it up, and when you go to the websites that advocate for this, they're very persuasive. You know, they've got photographs and they're circled and parts of the photos.
How is my life going to be made any better if I suddenly discover that the moon landings were faked?
Well, you could argue. I'm going to just play devil's advocate here, Mark, and be a moon landing job. Well, it'll help people understand the government's lying to them, Mark, if they can find out that the moon landing is fake, that they can't trust their government.
Everybody knows the government's lying to them. All they have to do is listen to the government. You can see that the government has lied, then apologize for the lies. And this is all governments everywhere. They're all full of lies. And then they go on and believing this stuff. Just look, the lies abound. Every time the government apologizes for something, it's something they lied about in the past.
That's the best I got. I don't really have any other reasons why anybody should do anything with this. Obviously, it's just a bunch of garbage like the flat Earth and the hollow Earth and all that. I mean, to ignore the idea that they would have to have such a massive conspiracy. I mean, all the people involved in, if it was a faking the moon landing. Because the theory is it was like a Hollywood crew. It was, professionally filmed in a Hollywood soundstage. And they brought in some fancy director or whatever. Who was it? The guy from, what's the claim that they brought in the guy who did that Stephen King movie. I'm forgetting what his name was right now. The one with Jack Nicholson in it.
The Here's Johnny one.
That
Shining.
one. Yeah, The Shining.
Yeah.
Whoever the heck that guy was.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin punches a guy for saying that the moon landing is fake. Buzz will just punch you over that.
By the way, speaking of pop culture, since we're in the remaining moments here, we're talking about movies. I saw The Predator last week.
You like that
I'm
stuff.
a fan. I like the Predator movies. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was entertaining if you don't take it seriously.
Okay.
Because I called it...
it's not continuity?
No, it's just not it's a funny movie. It's like it doesn't. If you've ever seen previous Predator movies, they're all very serious.
Yeah.
And this one, it just takes it all and turns it on its nose and makes it into a comedy.
Okay.
And it's got some great jabs between the main characters. Great writing. It's a funny movie. It's not serious. If you're expecting a serious movie, if you're expecting a kind of traditional Predator movie, you're going to be disappointed by it. It was a bit of a mess, but overall it was a fun ride. So if you liked Predator and you're open-minded, check it out. We'll see you tomorrow night, freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, September 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,200 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,679. Antiwar.com reports the last official figures on Afghan military deaths came out in 2016. 22 soldiers were killed on an average day, and this was so bad that Afghan and U.S. officials decided that death tolls would subsequently be kept secret. Things have just gotten worse, and 22 deaths would be a comparatively mild day compared